113 at one point. What do you put that down to, the inaccuracy in front of goal?
What do I put it down to? Some of them were shot quality, some of them were, but no, just making the most of the opportunities. I think last week at one stage we were 10-3, so we can do it, but we didn't do it today. There seems to be a bit of a trend for us that if we start missing early, whether the next guy feels the weight or the pressure of it, we've got to get better. You don't win games kicking a goal like that, and I think at the end maybe one less shot than them, but the supply demand, they just had too much. I thought our backs did a great job in defending them. To keep Geelong to 70 points was a pretty good effort, considering I think they had over 50 inside 50s. So I thought our backs, Wiedering, Plowman particularly, but Seton, Williams at ground level as well, Newman, did a great job.
Build up the pressure, you mentioned when one player misses and the next one feels it. Do you have to address that with the group? Did you today, and do you have to in the future?
Oh, it's really about players having a routine and taking out what's happened in the past. And the key to good goal kicking is staying in the moment and just sticking to your routine and going through that. And I know the guys will train it, and it's definitely something that, particularly from individual point of view, that maybe they need to address. It's hard to replicate that pressure at training. So it's probably more psychologically that they need to prepare themselves, come up with a really strong routine that they're confident with and sticking to it.
What's changed defensively in the past month? What are you doing differently from before the bye? Because the goals speak for themselves.
Yeah, there hasn't been a big shift in our defence other than our ability to get the 18 players on the field to all buy into it at the same time. We've been quite good in terms of the aerial contest stuff early, but we probably relied too heavily. We had too many one-on-ones behind the ball, and we didn't trust our system to step off at the right time. But I think there's a real connection with the group in our defence, and the trust is growing, giving them more confidence to step off and to execute team defence more than relying on individuals having to win contests.
You mentioned that we spoke about the goal kicking, but I think the field kicking as well was certainly hurtful in the first quarter. I think 7 of the 10 goals for Geelong came off turnovers. Were you happy with the decision making in terms of the intent, though, with the way they were trying to move the ball? How did you sort of interpret the way it went?
Yeah, we wanted to go quick with the ball. We wanted to get it into our forwards one-on-one, and we thought our forwards would be able to get shots on goal, and we did. When we got it inside 50, we got shots on goal. But yeah, there was a couple of decision making, a couple of execution, a couple were on. They just hit it a bit skinny and didn't get it through the air. So look, we probably bit a little bit off in these conditions early. I thought we adjusted better. It was more the turnovers early that really hurt us, and I think their first 2 goals came directly off our kicks back through the corridor. So I thought after quarter time we probably got held going a bit too slow down the line, but that was probably off the back of burning a couple through the middle early. So we've still got to find that balance. I thought late in the game when we got it out to the open side and we went a little bit quicker, we looked more dangerous. Having said that, Geelong are a very good defensive team. They slowed us down really well.
Liam Stoppers, I think maybe the second half, his first half was really strong on Gary. What's his strength defensively? I think his goals against are really low the past 4 weeks. What's special about this kid?
He's a competitor. He competes. He understands his role. He's worked on the craft elements to execute his role, and often when you're down there, it's a concentration thing, and he's very determined in getting his job done, and I think he's connecting, and this is where I think the players around him and they're playing a system and connecting together. I think that Plowman, Wiedering, Jones in the past, Zachy Williams and Adam Sata starting to play a little bit more footy together, Newman as well. So they're starting to play a little bit more footy together. We've changed a little bit throughout the year, but he's playing his role and his teammates are trusting him to come and support them, and his teammates are coming off to support him when he needs it as well.
Is Zach okay?
Yeah, I think so. I think he just got stood on. I think it was just someone stepped on him. I don't think it's anything more than a step on the ankle or foot or something in that area. But no, he should be fine.
Will Murphy play against
We'll see. He needs to train at this stage. At this stage, it's probably more on the unlikely side, but we'll see how he goes from a recovery point of view. So he'll need to train fully Thursday and to put his hand up.
If he doesn't, could he come one straight back, you know what you need to beat a goal now?
We'll have to have a look at how we're going. We're picking a team to win. We'd love to get Mark through to 300, but we'll have to have a look at what's available and what's the best mix and what's the right decision for our football club. There's lots of different factors that will come into play, but we've got to make the decision that's right by our playing group and by our club. He's a chance. Yeah, he got through training on Thursday, which was his last really big session. So as long as he pulls up well and he gets through the next week, then he's a chance to play, if not this week, the following week.
And it's Jones and Casbolt, will they be fit for playing?
I hope so. Levi just had a bit of swelling in his knee, so hopefully that will clear up. We were hoping that it cleared up this morning, but it hadn't. And Jonesy had a bit of a lower back, so lower back's a bit harder to tell. So we'll have to wait and see how he progresses and if he gets up. But hopefully they'll both be available. Yeah, I think he got a corky today in, I'm not sure which leg, one of his thighs. So I think he got a corky. No, he was pretty good before the game. I don't know if you saw him moving early on in the game. He was on his toes. He looked pretty strong. I thought he gave us a real contest around the ball. I think he won a fair bit from a contested ball point of view. So no, he'll probably pull up pretty sore after a game like that. I think most midfielders do in these conditions. But no, he should be right.
In terms of your key position depth, how much did you feel like today? I think you had 92 over 190 in VFL last week, and then you take Casbolt and Jones out of the equation. Did you feel like you felt that particularly down back today?
Oh, I thought the backs did a great job. Is it the way we'd ideally like to line up? Probably not. There's lots of players. I'd love Jones back. I'd love Marchbank out there. I'd love Cunningham out. I'd love Pitnet out there. There's a heap you'd love out there. But right now we've got a list that are willing to go compete. And I thought the back seven competed really strongly today, and they found a way. I particularly thought I loved Wiedering's game on Hawkins. We all know how good Hawkins is, and we know how good Wiedering is. He's been outstanding all year. But Plowman had to play tall. Stocker had to play a bit taller. Newman at times had to play a bit taller. And I thought they gave their all in those jobs and did a pretty good job at it. Like, yeah, they took a couple of marks at times, but as a whole, with the amount of ball that was coming in there, I thought that back group of seven were really strong. I thought our mids' ability and our forwards' ability to get up the ground and fill a bit of space helped them. So I thought the ability for them to defend together supported the backs, but when the moment came for the backs to get the job done, I thought they did more often than not.
David, it seems like you're happy with quite a lot of things that have come out of this. I mean, how do you assess this game as a whole? You touched on the goal kicking, but obviously, you clearly, I think Chris Scott said you were probably on top early. How do you assess that as a whole when you sort of fell away?
You must be asking the right questions. Look, I thought our ball use wasn't at the standard. I didn't think we used the ball well. From an execution and a decision-making at times, I thought we used the extra number at times with their handball, but when it was time to find a mark, when they got their numbers behind the ball, we often kicked to them. So we got a fair bit of growth there. Obviously, our conversion at goal wasn't good enough. I thought our tackling, as much as our effort to get at them was good, they stood up in our tackles. They were strong. They stood up in our tackles and were able to give one. I think the tackle numbers were even, but I'd be amazed if our attempts weren't higher. I just thought their ability to get the ball out and particularly in these conditions where it was quite slippery and wet out there. So there's definitely areas we want to grow, and we've got to grow. We've got a fair bit to work on. But as you said, I thought the effort we saw, I thought ability to defend as a team has improved, but we've got a long way to go. We've got to put 4 quarters of the contest and the offence and defence together, and that's what you need against a really good opposition. And in the end, the supply was just too great. Their supply was too great, and we didn't make the most of our opportunities when we did get them, but we didn't generate enough anyway. Geelong beat us throughout the game. Yeah, we probably beat them early from a field position point of view, but they beat us probably, particularly in the second and third quarter.
Do you need to scalp? No, I mean, like today was a chance to take down a top 4 team. Do you feel like, from a confidence point of view from players, you need to get one in the next 6 weeks? Kind of these bigger teams.
Oh, you want them. I want to win every game for the rest of the year. But in terms of a scalp, like, they're nice, but it's more around how you go and how you play. And we'll stick to the process of how we play. What we learnt today is against a quality opposition, we need to get better, and that's what we'll focus on. Today it was probably as much our ball use and our ability to use the ball. which earlier in the year was probably more of our defence. So I think if we get it together, we'll get a scalp, and that will give us great belief in terms of answering your question. But in terms of right now, we're just going to continue to work on getting better.
Melbourne's charge to last year, we sort of looked at what they won, I think 7 and 9, and they obviously took a lot of confidence in this year. You guys looked at that and thought, well, if we can replicate that, we'll take something the next year.
We haven't looked at Melbourne exactly, but you do look at different teams throughout and different journeys throughout there. For us, for the rest of this year, it's about getting better to prepare ourselves for next year. Like, this is a long journey, and right now we're not where we want to be. You want to be in the top 4, giving yourself a chance to compete, and we're not there yet. So to get there, we've got to get better. And right now we've got 6 games to go to get better, and that's what we want to do. We've got to do it. We expect that of our group, and I think the last few weeks we've seen some growth, but we need to get better. We need to continue to grow. And this week it was probably our offence, our ability to use the ball and finish our work in front of goal. That was the standout area to grow.